All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Prophet John here. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk about time freedom and the real wealth, okay? Because as a young kid, a teenager, growing up into in your 20s and your teenage years, you don't believe this. You don't believe that time freedom is the real wealth because you think you're going to live forever, right? You have that mindset of, I'm living forever. There's nothing I have all the time in the world. And so you get into this place where society tells you that you must work, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. That is the wealth. That is your wealth. And so we get brainwashed that wealth is working 9 to 5 or 40, 50, 60 hours a week at a job. Or at a career. We actually believe that when we're young, when we're in teenagers, and we the only way we can make money is by working. We have to have a job, or so, you know what I mean. We can't make money anywhere else. We don't have the mindset to make money doing anything else, but actually working for somebody else and making somebody else's dreams come true while you're just getting the crumbs, right? And so we don't realize that when we're young, we don't realize that time freedom is real wealth. And so I think that, for you people to have children, it's a good thing to instill in their minds that going to work for somebody else and slaving away your hours of life that you'll never get back is not free. That's not wealth. Okay. Be able to own your own business, create things, solve problems, that gives you the time that creates the wealth for you, so you'll be able to have the time freedom. You got to let your children know, and let your people know, your family members know, that especially the younger ones, that your little cousins and things like that, that time freedom is the real wealth. Okay, because everybody knows that children and teenagers and young adults think that working a job and slaving themselves at a job and stacking that little money that they make is going to bring them wealth, right? And we know that's not true, because even if you stack money, there's always problems, there's always an emergency, and there's always some type of surgery somebody needs, somebody in your family needs something, and that money is gone, right? And so that's not how you're going to sustain wealth. Now, there is some cases where people are perfectly healthy, they have no emergencies for 20 years, and they're able to work a 9 to 5 job, and they're actually able to stack, $400 every 2 weeks in their bank accounts, and that's $800 a month, and they just stack and stack and stack, and for 20, 30 years they've been stacking money in a Roth IRA, 401k, pension, and in their bank account interest, and they've actually been able to make a $500,000. You know what I mean? And without any emergency situations in their life. That's literally one out of every 1 million person that you find, right? Everybody else, there's emergencies every month, especially when you're dealing with families and friends and loved ones. There's emergency every month. So there's money that needs to be that gets drained every month. There's stupid things that happen. People get arrested. People do this. People do that. And so life is chaotic. And just going to work at a 9 to 5 and spending hours and hours and hours to make somebody else's dream come true and not yours, and you get the crumbs. It's not fun. Now, if you're going to work at a 9 to 5 and it's your career job, and you love your job, like you love your career, because I'm not going to call a career job. Okay, if you're in your career field that you actually went to school for, that's a different ball game. Okay, I think people get it mixed up when we talk about 9 to 5 jobs or jobs in general. A job and a career are two different things. If you dreamt about being a dentist all your life, or being a doctor, or being a nurse, or being something, you know what I mean? Like, if you have dreamt that your whole entire life and wanted to be that your whole entire life, then you're doing your career. You're doing your what you've put out for your goals and your destiny. that's what you're doing. Okay, so I don't have no problems with that, right? Because you should be fun. It should be fun for you. Now, if you're a doctor or a dentist and it's not fun, then it becomes a job, right? But if you're actually doing your career, like what you put out and set out to do, and you're making money, because when you're in your career field, you should be monetizing that at all possible rates, right? So let's say you make $40,000 as a teacher, and that's what you wanted to do as your goal. Well, that doesn't stop there, guys and girls. You can teach online as well. You can teach on YouTube. You can teach on Patreon. You can monetize your goals and your profession, right? And your career. So don't ever think that you have to, like, okay, I'm a teacher, in Alabama County schools, and I make $45,000 a year, and that's it. I can't do anything with my life because I don't make enough money after taxes. But I love teaching. I love what I'm doing. No, it doesn't have to stop. The money doesn't have to stop there. You are in your dream job. You are in your career. So that means that you can then expand your monetization, right? And people don't realize it. I think growing up, we did not realize that because we really didn't have the tools and there wasn't the internet, right? So for a lot of you guys that were born in the 90s, or the 80s or 70s or 60s, there was no internet. So to monetize your dream job or your dream career, okay, because a dream job there's no such thing as a dream job, but there is such thing as a dream career, right? To monetize your dream career was hard back in those days. It could have still been done, but it was harder back in those days, right? But now you have everything to your disposal, and people are still not monetizing their dream careers, right? So if you're a dentist, if you're a doctor, if you're a psychologist, if you're a teacher, I mean, you can write books. You can do what do you call it? Teaching online. You can hold webinar teachings and have people pay in to get into your webinar classes. You can be on Patreon teaching. You can teach basic math. Like, let's say you're teaching algebra in high school, but on Patreon, you're teaching basic math, right? And you're charging, like, let's say it's $5 a month on Patreon for people to learn basic math. What if you're a math teacher, but you also know fluent Spanish? You can also set up another Patreon page, or you can be on the same Patreon page, and you can have a different tier that teaches Spanish. Okay, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, right? And that could be $10 a month for all three of them, right? And you learn Spanish 3, Spanish 2, Spanish 1. You learn Spanish basically, right? But you get all three courses in one, right? So these are things that you can monetize when you're in your career field. You can also teach on YouTube, right? And so that's a way to monetize. So there's many ways to monetize. You can also get speaking engagements, right? Get hired. You can have a company that allows you, that hires people for speaking engagements and stuff. They go out. You can have a team go out and they can get you speaking engagements for teaching or whatever you do in your profession. If you're a dentist, you should be on Instagram. You should be on Instagram showing before and after pictures and doing videos, and so you can get brand deals, right? You look at all the famous dentists and doctors out there on Instagram, and they're getting all these brand deals because they're putting their work on television. All the people who do hair are the same thing. They're making money on YouTube. They're not just making money in their salon shop, but they're making money on YouTube by putting their videos out there and monetizing it. They're making money on Instagram with brand deals as well. So we have to be creative and not just sit there, and realize that when you're in your career field and your career, the thing that you've always wanted to do, is unlimited potential of monetization behind it. Don't just settle for a paycheck from a school district that says $45,000. Okay, get onto the YouTube, get onto the Patreon, get onto the Instagrams, get onto the Facebook, and get yourself on there with Facebook ads. And when you can put your video up and then they run Facebook ads and you make some money on that as well. Get onto these platforms and monetize your career, right? Because then you'll go from 45,000 to 250,000 when you do it that way, right? And so now it's now 250,000 is a bigger it's a bigger deal, right? Now you can definitely save, now you can definitely invest, now you can definitely do things. But 45,000 you can't do nothing. Okay? You're surviving, you're trying to survive, right? And so now that 250,000 because when you're using all these other platforms, right? You're now able to monetize, right? But we have to also remember that, you know what I mean, that's at 250,000, you're going to be able to get out of your career a lot faster than everybody else. See, everybody else that's in your career that's making 40, $50,000, they're gonna have to go all the way to 20, 30 years in teaching, and then when they retire, they're gonna get this small paycheck. But you at 250,000, you're just going to continue to grow. Why? Because your YouTube channel is going to continue to grow, right? Your Patreon will continue to grow with subscribers. Your Instagram will continue to grow, and you'll get more money for your ads and things. And same thing on your Facebook. You continue to grow as you continue to post good content, right? And so that 250 might in 3 years might be 500,000, right? While everybody else is just worried about their salary, and so their just salary is growing. Maybe they started out at 45,000, now they're at 46, 47. 3 years from now they're at 48,000. You're at 500,000 now because you've used all the other means on the internet to bring in income, right? You can also do private teachings in your neighborhood, right? Where it's private, you know what I mean? Where people, where people in the neighborhood want information or want things or want you to come in once a week and sit down with their kids and evaluate them. You could do that privately as well. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do in your career. Okay. So just understand that you can monetize that, and that will bring you to retirement a lot quicker. That will bring you to your goals a lot quicker. So then you can have time freedom, right? We don't want to reach our goals like we don't want to get to $1 million in for retirement in 20 years or 30 years like they talk about on the media and things. Yeah, we can retire in 20 to 30 years with the saving this much. No, we want to do that within we want to do that within 7 to 12 years, right? And so that saves you that time, so then you can then have that time freedom. Okay, now remember, when you also are monetizing your career, guess what you can do? You can actually quit your actual day job or your career job because you already have the monetization on the platforms already set up. Your Facebook isn't going nowhere. Your Instagram money isn't going anywhere. Your Patreon money isn't going anywhere. Your YouTube money isn't going anywhere. You see how that works? So now you don't really need that 9 to 5 career job any longer after 5, 10, or maybe when you get your 10-year mark, then you can start taking retirement. You retire early at 10 years, and now you have the freedom to literally teach online and all the platforms that you have created for yourself, and you can still have that income coming in because the income at the actual class is only like 40, 50,000 a year, but the income outside of it is where you're generating the 100,000, 200, $300,000. You see how that works? So you can get to that 10-year mark, and then you can take early retirement. And so now you're getting an income from the Alabama, right? The state of Alabama is giving you a retirement check for the rest of your life, and you take early retirement. But these are things that people don't think about, they don't talk about, and so they don't do it. They don't execute these types of things. People are at their career jobs right now, and as I speak, and they're not monetizing it outside of their salary. which is you're doing a disjustice to your, is that how you say it, disjustice, right, or something like that. You're doing an injustice, there you go, you're doing an injustice to yourself, you're doing an injustice to your family, your friend, because imagine an extra $100,000 because you're monetizing it, yourself on other platforms, right, and it's not just your career job in a building, but it's your career job online as well. That's an you could literally an extra 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 you're not making, and that could be going towards your children's future so that they don't have to ever work a job. You see what I'm saying? Like they like look at the capabilities on just making an extra $30,000 by having a Patreon page or a YouTube channel, or making videos on Facebook and then getting it monetized, or being on Instagram and growing your Instagram followers and then having sponsors. You see what I'm saying? And that extra 30, 40, 50, 100,000 a year could be going to your children's education, could be going to your children's future, could be going for you to buy your gold and silver so when things get bad, right? It could be going to your early retirement because time freedom is the real wealth, right? So we got to think about that, guys and girls. Get out of your comfort zone, because a lot of you guys don't want to do anything because you're in your comfort zone. So you settle in that comfort zone and you just hide from society. And we're not here to hide from society. We're here to thrive. We're here to thrive and bring society, Christ. Right? We're here to thrive and bring society Christ. Right? So if you're sitting there hiding in your career, then that's that. Are you really living your purpose? Yes, you might be in your right career, but are you really, really living your purpose? Right? So 2020, let's stop hiding inside of our jobs and careers, but let's expand and because that extra money could lead to your time freedom. It could lead to you retiring 10 years early. I mean, imagine the extra $60,000 because of the because you've opened yourself up to being online and doing your career online as well. And that extra $60,000 every year is going to lead you to retire 10 years earlier than you expected to. That gives you time freedom. We want to retire as early as possible so we can have time freedom is the real wealth. Okay? Not being at a job and 60 hours a week is not real wealth. That's not wealth. That is a slave. That's a slave mentality and a plantation mentality. And your body breaks down. You start to your immune system breaks down. You start to get diseases and colds and flus and everything. You start sneezing. I know it because I went through it. That's all I did was I was work, and I thought working was wealth. I thought working will bring me wealth. Well, turns out that was wrong, because it seems like the more I worked, the more problems came about, and the money kept being snatched from me every time. Oh, every time I have money, up another problem. Every time I have money, up another problem. Right? So it's just crazy. It's crazy. But when you sit back and have the time freedom and you can able to use your mind, let your mind work, and your mind starts to create things for you. Your mind starts to create things that you can monetize and things like that. And just having that freedom and without that stress of a supervisor or a boss or coworkers, and you're able to just relax and do what you do every day. You can wake up saying, "Hey, I don't have a boss. I'm good." You know what I mean? Like that's the best feeling in the world. Waking up like I don't have a boss. You know what I mean? I'm on my own schedule. I do whatever I want. I do my own schedule. That's awesome. That's time freedom. That's real wealth, right? Being able to do whatever you want every single day without a boss and without people over your back, and you just relaxing and chilling, and you're able to praise God all day long as well. You know, and you can work for the kingdom of God as well. Another thing that we can do, right? You can also set up your YouTube channel or your Patreon and stuff, or your Instagram stuff, and you can also work for the kingdom of God. You can pray online for people. You can do healing prayers. You can teach. You can read the Bible out of the Bible. You can monetize all that as well. So not only can you be a great teacher, or a great philosopher, or a great professor, a great dentist, doctor, scientist, whatever you want to do, right? But you can also do it, have another side where you're also part of the kingdom of God, and you're also praying and preaching and teaching the word of God, and you can monetize that as well. There's so much people can do, and you guys are limiting yourselves to just one job, one salary, and that's not who said you were supposed to do that. You know, who said you're supposed to? Most successful people have seven incomes. Most successful people have seven incomes. Okay, so one income could be and look, you can have five, six, seven YouTube channels. So the income is unlimited on YouTube, because you can have five income YouTube channels that are generating income, right? If you meet the requirements. Back then you didn't have any requirements. You can just could get up on YouTube and start making money, right? You just become a partnership, sign the partnership with YouTube, and do all the things you have to do behind the scenes, and then become a partner with YouTube. Right now you have to meet a requirement, but back then you didn't. So you could have had five channels that are up and running with ads. That's five incomes, because you got five different channels speaking of five different things, right? And you can still do it now, but you're gonna have to you got to meet the requirements of YouTube before you can add, and then they got to make sure your channel is legit to go, right? And then you can have those in, but you can still do it. It's just gonna take a little longer now, right? So instead of just right away doing it, it might take you 3 to 6 months before you start generating income on YouTube. But that means that by summer you'll have five new incomes, right? So just think about it like that. If you got five different ideas and you can do one video a day on each of those channels, then you start doing that, and you start posting those things on social media to get people to support you and back you up, and you start growing those channels, right? And then you build it up, and then boom, by the summertime all five channels are now monetized, and now you got five new incomes, right? So you can let's say most people on YouTube have two channels that are monetized. Most YouTubers that are actually doing it full time have at least two channels that are monetized. Okay, so that's two incomes right there. Then most of us have a Patreon. I got two Patreons, right? So I got Eyes of Media Patreon, and I got Currency 365 Patreon. So that's four monetizations right there, right? And then for me, I trade on, for me, I trade cryptos, right? And what about the crypto dividends? Each month we get crypto dividends, right? That's a five income, right? Now there's different crypto dividends. Tron has a crypto dividends that they give out, right? BTT, and then you got VeChain has a different crypto. Those are all different income. So if you have let's say five cryptos that each give you a different crypto dividends each month, that's five different incomes. Okay, so but let's just say cryptos, right? So that's five right there, right? So you just put cryptos in a whole, even though you can definitely put them in different sections, because they're all giving you different dividends and things like that, right? And then you have the crypto faucets, which is a completely different thing than that as well, right? You got the crypto faucets as well that give you free cryptos, right? And so that's another income, right? Even though these are small incomes, there's still income. There's still money that's coming in regardless, every single day, every single hour, right? Even if it's pennies, or even if it's like few dollars a day, it's still income that's coming in, that's being generated, right? Imagine over the next 10 years what it's going to look like with all that free money that's piling up, piling up, piling up. Now, some of that might go to zero, because some of the cryptos might go to zero, right? But and some of them might go 8,000%. So think about it that way. I'm literally converting most of my cryptos into Litecoin. So, and I believe Litecoin is going to go up tremendously, right? It might even go to 20,000. So anyways, you can do that as well. And then you got the stocks. You can make money off of stocks, right? And you got your investments in stocks. right? And so you can make stock dividends. There's stock dividends. There's stocks that also do the same thing as cryptos, where you put your money in stocks and they give you a dividend every month, right? For just being in the stock. Some stocks give you a dividend every month. Some stocks will give you a dividend every quarter. That's another income stream right there. Okay. So, I mean, there's just, I mean, it's, you can also do private teachings or private tutoring or private stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways to make income, guys and girls, online. So, you can also there's a bunch of, on YouTube, there's a bunch of, little sites that you can go to make $10 a day or $20 a day, or, and other things like that, like quick income. So it's up to you guys what you guys want to do. And but remember that time freedom is the real wealth. So the quicker you can get to your ultimate goal. So if you set out a goal like I need to make $5 million, the quicker you can get to that goal, the more time freedom you're gonna have, right? So, and you don't need to get to that goal by working. You should be getting to that goal by investing, right? And having 7 to 8 multiple incomes. And these incomes shouldn't have to require you actually working every day. Those dividends, you don't have to do nothing for those crypto dividends, right? For the stock dividends, you don't have to do nothing for stock dividends except for put money into the share, buy the shares, and they give you, the dividends every month or every quarter, right? The crypto faucets, all you have to do is click some capture codes every day, right? You can do it in the morning and you can do it at night before you go to sleep. You click in capture codes twice a day and you're earning cryptos, right? So it's not hard. A lot of this stuff is not hard at all, and you can just be building up and building up your wealth, so you can have your time freedom. All right. So we talked about that, and gold and silver will rise. Gold has been rising, silver hasn't yet, but they will come out of their suppression in 2020 into 2029. I believe this decade we will see silver and gold come out of their suppression and come out of the hands of the evil people, and they will do their thing. But I still think gold needs to come down first, and then it would rise to 7, 8, $10,000 in the future. Anyways, peace out, God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Eyes open, and remember, time freedom is the real wealth. Shalom. Eyes open.